Hello and welcome to Shamanaste Speaks. Are you seeking greater understanding and insight into your life's purpose? Our spiritual channeling sessions offer the opportunity to connect with your higher self and receive guidance from the universe. During a channeling session, Burge Smith-Lyons will enter into a meditative state to open up her consciousness and allow for the flow of divine wisdom and knowledge. The divine guidance we share with you comes from a group of soul teachers called Shamanaste. Shamanaste comes from the universal divine spirit of teachers and shares with us a non-physical perspective of what's happening in the third dimension. This wisdom can provide guidance on your personal growth, relationships, and any other areas of concern in your life. Through channeling, you can gain a deeper understanding of your own truth and tap into your inner power. This experience can be deeply transformative and provide a sense of clarity and direction. So sit back and relax as we tune in to this channeled message from Shamanaste.
Greetings. We are pleased to be here in this time and place. We want to be able to share with you anything that you might feel needs more focus in your life, or perhaps to open your heart to be even more full than you are now. And we understand that many of you have come to this planet now to seek perhaps another experience. And what we have always said and will always say to you is this, that the best experience that you can demonstrate to others as way-showers and light players is to play and to sing and to dance and to express and to be and to connect. And we know that many of you do this on a daily basis, and perhaps what we would like to do is to share with you a way to do this in a way that does not feel like work. Do you understand?
Yes.
And how many of you work? And do you have to work at play? And do you have to focus to play? In other words, what we are saying is this: if you study children and you study animals, and if you watch them and observe them, there is no meaning to play. In other words, there is no outcome. And we have spoken about this before to many of you around play. And many of you become very serious when you think of spirituality and when you think of being enlightened, that it has to be very serious and live on a mountaintop. And that can be one way to do it, certainly. However, what many of you have chosen to do is to come here and show others, as well as yourself, how to play with no outcome. And you see, many of you get tripped up from when you were little. All you would do is play. Would you not? Yes. And you would express. When you were hungry, you would cry. When you were mad, you would scream. When you would laugh, you'd be joyful. And you would see something and it would make you express yourself in a way that is unrelentless. And many of you have perhaps forgotten that that is the innate way of being for you. And to be able to play in this world is certainly the demonstration that most of you need here now. And you might ask, well, how can we do this? How can we work at play? And how can we be enlightened and play? And how can we be spiritual and not be serious about it? And we understand that many religions come together to focus the energy of awareness, and to focus the energy of upliftment, and to focus the energy that there is hope, and to certainly answer certain questions that many of you ask as human beings. Many of you ask, why should I die? What happens to me when I die? What happens to all of our past lives? Is that real? What happens in the past, in the present, in the future? And why am I here? Many of you have asked those questions, and seemingly you want to go outside, even to us, to ask questions, or to your religion, or to your gurus, or to your experiences and your awarenesses, to say, is this real, and to validate it, knowing what the real truth is for you. And all we are saying is this: do not beat yourself up or feel guilty around any of this, because as we have told you many times, that guilt demands punishment. That when you feel guilty about anything, you are demanding punishment to come to you. And that can look like self-sabotage, or that can look like bringing and attracting others to punish you. Because if you feel innocent, as children are, and as you are innately innocent, to bring forth that innocence within your heart and the purity of thought and the purity of mind, and to laugh and to express as children do without an outcome. That is the way of being, certainly. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And what we have asked many of you to do is to feel your tone, feel your uniqueness. You are a unique signature in this world. There is an ocean of abundance and an ocean of souls that you all belong to. And when you come into your bodies, what happens is a part of that ocean is like a big dropper of water that fills up another body. So if you can imagine this ocean of souls, and you decide as part of the ocean that you want to come into your body at this time and to experience, what happens is you connect with a dropper, and that dropper you drop into your body, and that part of you is that your unique signature. That is the signature that is you. And when you die, and when you go through the veil and you pass through back into the soul, back into the ocean of souls, it mixes again with all that is. That is why you feel each other. That is why when you are connected, you feel everything. And for many of you, when you feel everything, it can be overwhelming. And you are opening up a vortex like a funnel. And what we are suggesting is that when you open up the vortex and you are feeling, to pinpoint it as a laser. In other words, if you want to connect to your guides, to your spirit, to your connection, to your unique signature, to all that is, to do it within a laser focus so that you are not so overwhelmed. We understand that many of you bring in love and bring in guidance and bring in peace and gratitude, and it can be overwhelming at times. And it is never wasted, of course. It expands. However, when you are in your body, it will accentuate if you bring it in with a laser focus as opposed to a funnel. And the funnel certainly will not explode on you if you bring it in as a laser. In other words, many of you may feel that when you bring in energy that it is too much, and therefore you shut it down. And therefore you shut off your own unique connection. And then you go outside yourself to look for it. And what we are suggesting is to, when you talk to your self, and you talk to your connection and your spirit and your angels and all of your ancestors and all that is, when you do this as a laser focus, and it will be very easy to manage within your physical body. And it will not be so overwhelming that you feel like you have to shut it off or shut it down or lower your life force. Many of you have lowered your life force because it is very big, and it is the blue flame in your belly. We speak of this often, that if you can imagine yourself turning up your blue flame in your belly like a gas pilot light, and you're turning it up and turning it up for others to see, it will not blind them. It will not blind you. It is up to you to keep your life force strong. It is up to you to keep your life force burning bright. And you see, when you burn bright and when you are shining light, there are shadows that appear. And when the shadows appear, many get afraid of the shadows. But you see, without the light, there is no shadow, and without the shadow, there is no light. At times, it feels to you. What we mean by this is, when you walk into a room and you turn on the light, there are roaches that run across the floor. And those roaches are running across the floor because you have turned on your light. And what you can do is bless those roaches because they are being seen now. In other words, many of you want to shove them somewhere else, or not see them, or afraid of them, or do not want to look at them. And you see, all of you have shadow with your light when you are in a physical body. We understand this is a conundrum because you are pure light. But when you come into a body, you have a presence. You have a physical body and a non-physical body. And therefore it is confusing at times. And if you notice, when you are born, you're very big. And you come into this teeny tiny little body, and it feels squished, and it feels somewhat confining. And when you leave your body, you might feel free. And if you can imagine, when you sleep at night, or whenever you are at sleep state, that is when you feel freer to be able to travel. And what we are saying is this, that if you embrace all of it, the shadow, the light, the darkness, the heaviness, the density of your physical body, as well as the lightness of your being, and you embrace it all as this is your time. This is your time on this planet right now, and to embrace it all, then that is the way to unity, instead of the disharmony and the dis-ease and the upset and the chaos and the disconnection. When you embrace all of you and say, thank you, I am here to experience and to play without outcome, without any trepidation, then life is much easier to manage. Would you agree?
Yes. And this concludes today's channeled message from Shamanaste Speaks. If you'd like to hear more, be sure to visit our website at shamanaste.com, where you may also register for our monthly session in which you will have the opportunity to ask your personal questions. Namaste.